actress, entrepreneur, global ambassador. We could spend the next few minutes listing all of these incredible accomplishments from this beautiful goddess. If she wasn't already busy, she put in a generational standout performance in the Hulu original movie, She Taught Love. I was emotional. It shook me to my core. And the movie just rocks you, and you just don't want to let go. Arsema Thomas plays Molly, a sports agent who's diagnosed with cancer. And then she falls in love. And through it all, Molly has to harness this strength, her strength. But she chose a love that she didn't even know existed for herself. And She Taught Love is now streaming on Hulu and Disney Plus internationally. Arsema Thomas, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation.
Maybe thank you.
Whew, this movie, it's really a revolutionary act. It's a generational love story. I cried multiple times. I was even yelling at the screen.
Fair enough. We did our job right.
You did. She Taught Love has a black director, two black leads. You got it on Hulu. Even Nate, the director, said that we give to the world what we would like to see from it. Love. Arsema, what has it been like giving the world this form of love in this new age love story?
Such a good question. I think it has been extremely challenging in the most beautiful way. I think that's what love is that like every day kind of has to be this active choice. And I think there's something really poetic about this film coming out during a time when the market is so saturated with films. And I feel like it would have been no better time than to be discussing something that is as revolutionary and as universal as love, something that we need so desperately also during like an election year like this one. So it's been one of the most beautiful, challenging moments, very exposing at times, but in the greatest way possible. I feel like I've learned so much about myself, and it's been scary as well. There's nothing more revealing and more brave than an act of love.
Yes, that is so true. And it's really beautiful to hear you say that you learned about yourself too through the character Molly. Somehow, in 1 hour and 42 minutes, Molly just exemplifies this breadth of complexities of Black womanhood. I mean, be strong, don't ask for help, just keep it pushing. What were the depths that you had to go to connect with Molly? Like, how did you channel your own complexities as a Black woman, as Arsema, to the character Molly?
That's such a good question. I had to think about all the times that I had read a script and felt like a character was lacking. And all of those parts I just injected into her. Because the thing is, we, like you and I, we know what it means to be complex because we live that every day. We're three-dimensional human beings. We only know what it feels like to be diluted down. We can tell when something is too simple, but we live in the areas of nuance. So it felt the most organic and natural to be Molly because there was space for those intersections and there was space for nuance and complexity. She wasn't trying to be, a like a model or a prototype, She's just a human being. And I think that was something that was very, very enriching because it was like being two things at once. You know, she is goofy but serious. She's a lover but also guarded. She loves Star Wars but also loves sports. It's like all these things can be true at the same time. And that's just a puzzle, a game for the mind, because you can constantly keep finding out more and more things about her.
Yes. And Frank's relationship with Molly appears really complex and alarmingly frustrating at times. Again, I was yelling at the TV screen. I was like, oh, just can we get it right? The relationship, it shows aggravation, elevation. It's even euphoric at times. In a letter, Molly wrote to the character Frank that he brought color to her life, changing it from sepia to now her just living in Oz. Why do you think their souls remained intertwined?
I think they both search for safe places to land, and they find that in each other. They have this respect for each other's flaws in a beautiful way. And Frank is so like tightly wound as an individual that it just comes spiraling out. And Molly is so tightly wound as an individual that it just stays tense. And so he allows her to relax in different ways, and she shows him to like maintain like his structure or keep himself gathered in different ways. I think they do that beautiful thing of complementing each other. And I think there's this beautiful aspect of their relationship. Like, one, she has never felt more alive than she's with him. Like, she's never laughed as hard as she's ever had than with him. She's never fought as much as she's fought with him. And I think that for her, that's something that she wants, is the highs and the lows, to feel everything that enriches the human experience. And I think she recognizes that this is the person that I want to fight with. This is the person I want to fight everything that this world has to throw against us. This is the one, because I know that he'll have my back, and this is who I want as a partner. And I think that's the part of love that gets overshadowed a lot, is the part of it that is choice. You have to choose the person that you want to love with, you want to be in love with. I think there's this aspect of like it overcomes us, and that removes the agency from us. She knows through thick and thin that whatever he's serving, she wants. And I think that's the part that keeps them like forever clasped into each other's hands.
Absolutely. I think I love how you explained it and kind of broke it down because you do have to choose who you want to fight with. You do have to choose who you want to love with. It's an action. It's a action that you have to be present and intentional with. Yeah. Beyonce is referred a lot. She's a through line a bit in this film, right? Paralleling a sci-fi character, a larger than life figure, a literal alien superstar. What,
Mhm. Yeah, I didn't even use that.
what does it say that Molly needs these outside characters, these moments to just continue to live while at times pushing away people in the physical world? Is it because that the only beings that kind of possess more strength than a Black woman are just not even on this planet?
That is a very, very interesting point. I think you've hit the nail on the head, because a lot of what she feels drawn to are things that are ideas, because there is sometimes maybe a sense of disappointment, or she always has higher expectations and things don't always, pan out the way they're supposed to. That things like Beyonce and like having music and, the stars and the career of somebody else to manage, those are things that she is able to control. She can keep it close to her without it getting to know the true her. Whereas the people in her life, I think because she cares so much, there is the constant fear of being a burden.
Mhm.
And so and I think that's a universal thing as Black women. Like, we are constantly told that we should be so grateful to even exist, that for us to even have human experiences and problems feels like we are doing too much. And I think the moment that she fully lets her guard down and lets like Frank come in and help her in the bathroom, I think that's a moment that really is more applicable to a lot of us than we'd actually. It's sad to admit that sometimes we have to be broken all the way down to finally be able to let some people in. And I don't think that's our fault at all. That is a symptom of a very, very decrepit system that has told us that that is the only point where we deserve her help. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when Molly first gets diagnosed with cancer, she doesn't even tell anyone. She
Um,
she suffers through it silently. When,
mhm.
when do you think it's best to ask for help? Like in your most chaotic moments or when you're most still? How would you handle that personally? And how does Molly handle that?
I think that's such a good question. Because I would say like we should be asking for help the moment that we feel like it's too much on ourselves. But that in of itself is a very um, subjective space. And especially if we think we can handle more than we actually can. I don't know. I feel like as long as we have community around us, we should always be asking for help. I feel like there's this weird mentality that like help is transactional. I help you, then you help me, this quid pro quo mentality. And help is not usually something that, like, it might be helpful to rethink of asking for help as something that you ask somebody to do for you, like a favor, and more something that we can do together. Because then you should be able to ask for help from the very moment that you need to do anything. Why not make it a communal endeavor that does not detract from its value at all? And I
Mhm.
think Molly never asks for help. I can feel it even in myself. The idea of asking for help makes my skin crawl. And for her, she views it like as vulnerability. And in that way, she views it as weakness. It's like in this moment, I am losing my value because I need somebody else. And so I think she recognizes that constantly doing that isolates her more and more. The quality of her life continuously decreases. And it's only when she allows people in that she realizes how beautiful everything can possibly be. That whole hospital scene would have never happened had she not shared something so personal to her. And I think without her knowing she was asking for help by telling him about a dream that she's never realized.
Yeah, we're not supposed to do this alone. We're s-
Oh,
we're supposed to lean on our tribe, our community, and it's okay to ask for help and it's okay to be vulnerable. I think vulnerability can almost be your superpower.
I completely agree. I completely agree. The people who I look up to constantly are the people who are the most vulnerable. And they wear it like a badge of honor.
It's beautiful to be inspired by people in your community too, because the more vulnerable we are, we can just continuously inspire one another and just grow and evolve in that hemisphere alone. Um, we're living in a really interesting world right now where people are just not encouraged to live in their purpose. But you
Mhm.
had the courage to say in another interview that you were willing to be on screen less so that your work is more purposeful. So your work is purposeful. Why why does that matter to you? What does that mean to you, Arsema, to live in your truth and in your power in this industry?
I think it's the greatest gift I can give myself because I was told some really good advice that the thing that kills your self-esteem is when your inside, how you view yourself, does not match your outside, how you actually move in the world. And I realized that so often the most powerful thing anyone can do is to crush your self-esteem because then you'll be searching for it everywhere other than within yourself. And so I think I clocked onto that, thank God for therapy, and recognized that if I wanted to enjoy my life, that my self-esteem had to be really, really secure. And in order to do that, how I believe and the woman that I want to be, I have to see myself making those steps every day, or else I won't be able to go to sleep at night. And I realized that there's something way more for me. I can only live my life knowing that I'm fighting for something larger than me. There's something so limiting about thinking about my life being the end all be all. And maybe that's selfish, but I think I can't, I would have no reason to still be on this earth if I was not fighting for something other than myself. That I can't rationalize that.
Hmm. Your purpose is bigger than yourself. Your purpose, like you said, is a gift to the community, to the world.
It has to be. Our purpose is supposed to feed a collective good, you know?
Yes, absolutely. I know there's a young person out there watching this who may not know how to love themselves, who may not know what it means to love themselves, especially through their purpose. You've been an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, you started several nonprofits. Have you learned to show up in love throughout all of your seasons, throughout all of the different versions of Arsema? How can younger generations choose to show up in love?
I wish I knew the answer to that question. I think I'm still trying to learn how to love myself. It's strange because I have been talking to many friends about it. And I'm like, I know I don't, not to the place where I should. I love myself on with conditions. When I do well, I'm like, you're amazing. And when I do badly, I'm like, you are a waste. And going through those extremes, I think shows that the love that I have for myself is not truly cemented in something real. And I think just having that awareness is what I would give as advice. Because I think so often we want to say that we love ourselves, so we just want to get there. But I think there's something in also owning the journey that we have to getting there. Because I think there's so much grace that you end up giving yourself by telling yourself that you're not there yet. And that is okay. No growth is linear. I can tell you that the things that I thought I had dealt with years ago will rear their ugly head because there's so many different variables that come into life that change everything. We are constantly changing. And so I think I'd give young people the advice to just have some grace for yourself and to be okay knowing that it's not all okay, you know? It's okay to own the mistakes and the flaws. I think that's how you get to a place where you love yourself. You love yourself with the wounds, with the scars, with the bruises. Yeah.
Oof, thank you. That was beautiful. Grace will carry you to acceptance and to just patience in the process of loving yourself.
Patience.
Yeah. Arsema Thomas, you're incredible. Thank you so much. I'm giving everyone who was involved in this beautiful project all of their flowers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and living in your truth. I was genuinely just so moved by the art of the film and the world that She Taught Love painted. And for you to share that to the world, I felt the vulnerability that you had to give. And I know that others will find inspiration in She Taught Love. She Taught Love is now streaming on Hulu and internationally on Disney Plus. Arsema Thomas, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Truly, your questions. Whoo!
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best in all of your future endeavors. This was truly an honor, and you're incredible. I'm so excited to see all of the beautiful work you continue to do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Truly, truly. I like this has been such a beautiful, beautiful conversation. I'm so honored to even talk to you. I can't wait to do it again. I don't know what we'll talk about next, but you always you have a fan in me. Truly.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and we shall talk soon.
Yeah. God bless.
Thank you. God bless.